We are in the dog days of summer. There's nothing to talk about. Hockey news is slow. We had a big burst of stuff happening yesterday, but ultimately, when it comes to a lot of our favorite teams, many of the discussions that are being held online, on podcasts, on TV shows, on the radio, and on different articles all revolve around just kind of speculative stuff. People chatting, shooting the crap, talking about whatever it is on their minds, and this video is no different than any of that. This video, I feel, is going to be a lot more about the fans of the Montreal Canadiens, rather than the prospect that we're going to be talking about, who isn't even a Canadiens prospect, but for some reason is a guy whom Canadiens fans just cannot shut up about. It's very strange. Today we are talking about Philadelphia Flyers' 7th overall pick from last year's NHL draft, Matvei Michkov. And the funny part is, if you go out there onto Twitter and you search Michkov's name, sure, you'll find a lot of Philadelphia Flyers fans going out there and talking about Michkov. Oh, Michkov this, Michkov that, he's going to be this good, he's going to have this kind of an impact, he did the entire pitch for the Phillies, which is cool, right? A lot of Flyers fans are going out there loving their guy, which is totally appropriate. But when you search Michkov on social media, I feel like Montreal Canadiens fans might just talk about this guy even more than the Philadelphia Flyers fans do. It's very, very interesting. Like, for every post that a Philadelphia Flyers fan has about Matvei Michkov and how hyped they are, you've got Canadiens fans in the replies saying, oh, but Demidov is better. Oh, but he's not this. Oh, but Michkov is not that. And it always seems to evolve into Montreal fans pushing and shoving their way into the front of the line saying, hey, we exist here too. We can also talk about this Michkov guy, right? Philadelphia Flyers fans, you guys are excited? Well, here is why you shouldn't be. And it's a very interesting part of Montreal Canadiens fandom that seems to pop up every single year. There always happens to be a guy that Montreal Canadiens fans sort of low-key target in a way after the NHL draft. This year, it's tough to tell who that is. I think a lot of Canadiens fans are very happy with whom it is that they had taken, but last year, Montreal passed on Matvei Michkov at number 5. They took Reinbacher, and now, a year later, Montreal fans, they don't stop at nothing to talk smack about Matvei Michkov, at least everywhere I'm seeing on social media. 2 years ago was Juraj Slafkovsky, drafted first overall. Guess who wasn't first overall? It was Shane Wright. And Habs fans all over the web were talking about how Wright is inferior, how Slav was the better pick. They were crapping on Wright every chance they got because his development in year 1 with Seattle was bad, or it wasn't bad, it was just different. And even if you go back the past few years, Montreal fans were going crazy about Kotkaniemi and not talking about Quinn Hughes or Philip Zadina or Brady Tkachuk in 2018. The years after have seen some very interesting Montreal Canadiens moves, and Habs fans do not stop at nothing to talk smack about guys that their favorite hockey team passed up on in the NHL draft. And for Matvei Michkov, I feel like this is the biggest one we have seen in years. Now, part of that, I feel, is because of the jealousy there. I think there is a little bit of jealousy that Canadiens fans might have had when Michkov was taken 7th overall by Philadelphia instead of 5th overall by Montreal. It was already a pretty big deal, and we did make a lot of videos last year about this, how, hey, the Habs had a chance to draft Michkov, the best Russian prospect since Ovechkin, and they didn't do it. They passed on him to get Reinbacher, and then it was made even worse when Kent Hughes said that maybe the Canadiens wouldn't have taken Reinbacher if he wasn't a right-handed defenseman. It was literally drafting for need, and a lot of Canadiens fans got flashbacks saying, oh, wait a minute, this is like Kotkaniemi all over again, because of the positional need overtaking the potential of the guy that was available. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, there were a lot of Canadiens fans freaking out about it, but as a panic response, I feel, nowadays you have Canadiens fans talking smack everywhere. Matvei Michkov did that pitch that we had talked about with the Philadelphia Phillies, and Habs fans were all over the replies. Oh, the guy has a weak arm, Demidov would have done it better, this and that and this and that. It's trolling, I get it. Like, I don't think any Canadiens fan is seriously considering what would have happened if Demidov did a opening pitch for the Phillies and not Michkov. Nobody cares about that. It's just kind of any opportunity Habs fans have to take a dump on Matvei Michkov, they'll take it. And it gets to a point now where you're seeing posts like this made on the Our Canadiens subreddit that I wanted to go out there and talk about here too. I'm getting super confused about this. Yeah, we could have had Matvei Michkov, but we didn't get him. Is it possible that he didn't even want to play with us? We just passed on him. Essentially, this question that Jungle Habitat is asking is, why are we so obsessed with Matvei Michkov? Why do we keep on bringing him up? The draft is over. The Canadiens don't have him. Why are we talking about this guy so much? Here's a first comment made by Steeler2323. I'll take a wild guess, but with the way Philadelphia are treating him since signing him, and even how he acted before he was drafted, our management might have sensed that he wanted to be treated like a star from day one, which isn't something our team is doing. It's really a team-first mentality, and with all the players they're drafting, in the first and second especially, you can see the kind of character they want. I might be wrong. It just seems like that. We will never know the full truth. It's pointless to speculate on it. And one of the replies is an interesting and I think very noteworthy point that needs to be made here. To be technical, the SKA is requesting the Flyers to treat him like a star, or else they said they would be keeping him in Russia. Michkov bought his own contract out, and the NHL probably paid. They still own his rights until 2026. About the draft, I think he wasn't fitting our culture too, but whatever. I'm trusting both Bobrov on this. That is another idea that I think needs to be discussed here as well, how Matvei Michkov apparently didn't really show his hand all too much to the teams above Philadelphia in the 2023 NHL draft interviews. How it didn't really seem like he was interested in going to any of those teams, but for Philadelphia, reports say that he was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to be able to come over. Like, you don't have to wait for me. I'm going to play with your team. If you draft me, I'm here. And that wasn't apparently a sentiment that he shared with all the other NHL teams, especially the ones near the top of the draft, first, second, third, fourth, whatever overall, until number 7, where Philadelphia took him. So Michkov himself also had a big say into where everything went, and that ultimately played a huge part, it seems, as to where these NHL teams decided to use their draft picks on the 2023 draft. Some of these other comments go out there and saying, maybe the Canadiens just liked David Reinbacher. There's no use crying over spilt milk. Demidov will be better, and he's infinitely more likable, and Reinbacher gives us a guaranteed NHLer with great defensive skills, untapped offense, and an underrated touch of violence with top 2 potential as a righty. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. And see, this is kind of the language that I'm seeing tossed around there. A lot of Canadiens fans just cannot stop talking about Matvei Michkov. Now I know this is like bias because I'm taking these comments directly from a sample Reddit thread about Matvei Michkov on the Canadiens subreddit, but believe me, the reason it's being asked here is because it's being talked about all over social media. Canadiens fans are talking everywhere about Matvei Michkov, and I just don't think it's a proper use of our energy. Come on, man. Just enjoy Ivan Demidov. He's here, he's a Montreal guy, and he's looking pretty good. Now, if you wanted to get into the entire conversation of Demidov versus Matvei Michkov, then that's another video for another day. But for now, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Montreal fans just not shutting up about Michkov, and whether or not you've noticed this as well. Is this a pointless video? Yeah, I think so. I think all my videos are kind of pointless these days, especially in the summer, but this one might be especially more pointless. At the end of the day, you know, I'm just making YouTube videos. This is a commentary thing. I'm not making a big video essay or anything, I'm just responding to what I'm seeing online. And this has been brewing up for the past year, and I think it exploded even more once the Canadiens actually drafted Demidov, that now Montreal fans just cannot stop talking about Michkov. It's getting kind of weird, guys. Come on, like, I get it. It's the internet. You could talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. At the end of the day, it is your energy to expend at your disposal, and I'm making a YouTube video about this too, so I'm technically jumping on the bandwagon. But there's a difference. I'm doing this as a job. I'm doing this to entertain you folks. And it seems to me that a lot of the Canadiens' discourse about this player is coping in a way. Some of it is trolling. Others are getting a little bit more heated about this than I think is necessary for online social media discourse. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Matvei Michkov and how Canadiens fans cannot stop talking about him. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.